Good, now take the top off. Right, now pour some of the liquid into her mouth.
Oh, I don't know.
Don't do it, George.
Oh, for heaven's sake, it's perfectly all right. Look. Right, now give her some.
Well, why don't you do it?
Because if they find me out of bed, they'll know something's wrong, and all you've got to do is hide the jar. Now get on with it. Go on.
You're bluffing.
Don't force me to. You could be going out there to commit murder. What if people start dying from this disease? You've been exposed. You could be carrying it with you right now.
But I'm not. I feel fine. I'm all right. I'm not going back in there and exposing myself to it.
Carry it with you outside Wentworth? Infect other people? Carry it with you wherever you go?
No. Don't take me back in there, please, because I could get sick. I could die. We could all die. Can I get you something? Drink?
No, thanks. I'm going to be all right. The doctor gave me...
Oh, Jude. Gee.
Georgie, have a drink of water. Georgie, give me a drink of water.
Baxter, what are you doing here? Get back where you belong.
Can I please have a drink of water?
Look, you got to do something for her. She's real bad.
Baxter, I said get back where you belong.
Please, am I invisible or something? Well, thank God for that. Thought I was dead and no one had told me.
What is it, Smith?
Can I please have a drink of water?
Miss Bennett?
What are you going to do, Doc? You got to get us more medicine.
I've already given her some medication. I can't
Yeah, but
possibly
ain't
increase...
doing no good, is it? She's worse than before. You got to give her something else.
Baxter, let the doctor get on with his business. Now, if you don't leave here, I'll help you out. Now, get out!
Yeah, okay. See you later, Jude.
Thanks, Vera. You're all hurt.
Cool, I wish you'd given me some of that glop. I could have got better as quick as you. You're looking real good.
If they'd let me treat the rest of the women, they'd all be getting better.
You sure I don't need some of that stuff?
No, Lizzie, I promise. You'll get better without it. You had a very mild case. No, it's Mrs. Morris I'm worried about.
Yeah. Stuff doesn't seem to have done her much good.
Well, it will, Lizzie. Everybody's system is different, you see. It's just taking a bit longer to work with her, that's all.
You sure she's not allergic to it?
No, of course not. No, she'll be fine.
Maybe we better call somebody. Yeah. We'll have to get somebody. Hey, Doc! Somebody! Quick, it's Mrs. Morris. Look.
I hope you realize the seriousness of what you have done. You will be charged with attempting to escape.
But look, I'm only in here for I'm not a real criminal. You both know that.
You're no different from any of the others. And now you're in more trouble.
Look, I was scared. All my life, I've been terrified of being sick. I had to get out of here. I'm all right now, but I had to get out before I caught this thing that's going around here. Don't you understand that?
It makes no difference why you tried to escape. The fact remains you tried to escape from legal custody. That is a very serious charge.
You gave no thought to all the people on the outside that you might infect.
Look, I told you, I'm all right. I am not sick.
You could be without realizing it. You will be placed in solitary because you can't be trusted.
Solitary?
Be quiet. You have been apprehended trying to escape and will be placed in solitary. Mr. Fletcher, the men will have to bed down in the interview room. We certainly won't be using that until this is over. I hope you realize the foolishness of your action. Getting yourself deliberately put in here was bad enough, and now this. Many of the women are brought in here on relatively minor charges, but once inside, they get charge upon charge. It's like being on a merry-go-round. I just hope you can get off before you ruin your whole life. Take her away, Mr. Fletcher.
You are using disinfectant.
Yeah, of course. Doctor, you'll need it immediately.
What is it?
It's Mrs. Morris. Please hurry. I don't like the look of her.
Oh, please, I won't try anything again.
No,
please.
you won't. There's not much you can get up to in here.
What if I get sick and nobody'll know I'm here?
Oh, for heaven's sake. Meals will be brought into you. We'll check on you from time to time. We don't just lock people away and forget where they are, you know.
But what if you all get sick? Or what if people start dying? I mean, what if I get sick and nobody'll know
stop
I'm
it.
here?
You've only got yourself to blame for being here in the first place. Now, act your age.
Mr. Fletcher, please! Mr. Fletcher!
Oh, hi. There's nobody here but us sickies. Come on in.
Feeling any better?
Not yet, Georgie, but I will.
Geez, why don't they do something for you? You're worse than before.
She'll be okay. God, she went down fast.
Yeah, she's okay. Oh, what? I'll get you damp cloth.
Bee? Be you okay, love?
I wish there was something I could do for you.
Look, will you fix Bee? She's uncovered. Cover her up, love,
What can I
please.
do for you, Jude?
Look, Bee's my friend. Please help her, honey. Go and help her, huh? Do it for me.
I'm afraid Mrs. Morris's fever has risen, but Sister's with her, and the antibiotics should take effect soon.
Well, they should have taken effect before now, surely.
Well, normally, yes, but in some cases it does take longer.
Doctor, please be frank with me. So far, the antibiotics haven't helped any of the women at all, have they?
Well, it's true to say there's usually a much quicker result.
Is it possible that the disease is not bacterial?
Well, of course, it's possible. However, the results are not back from the tests as yet.
If not bacterial, then the antibiotics would have no effect, would they?
Mrs. Davidson, in my opinion, the illness is being treated in the best possible way at the moment. We'll know better how to handle it when we get the results back from the lab tests.
Meanwhile, more and more of the women are falling ill. I'm sorry, Doctor. It's just that there doesn't seem to be any connection between the cases. No contact. We've no idea how it's spreading. No one seems to know what it is or how to stop it.
We will find out. We'll know better how to handle it when we get the results back from the lab tests.
Well, when do you expect them to be finished?
Cultures take several days to mature.
Well, what about the plane passenger who died? Surely there must have been some tests done on her.
Well, yes, but unfortunately, the autopsy results are not available in that case either. These things do take time, you know.
And in the meantime?
Everything possible is being done.
Oh.
Look, might I suggest that you get some rest? Being exhausted and run down is bad enough at the best of times, but now, well, We don't want you getting sick too, do we?
This is no time to be slap burns. These floors have got to be cleaned, and use plenty of disinfectant.
Yes, Miss Bennet.
Baxter, I told you to stay out of here. Now get a move on. Baxter, I said get back where you belong. Now come on, get a move on. Move!
Bea? Bea? Oh, somebody's got to help me.
Dora?
Oh, Jude, thank God. What am I going to do? I gave Mrs. Morris some of that stuff and now I'm scared she's going to die.
She's just sleeping, that's all.
No, I gave her some of Evelyn's medicine and she's got sicker. The doctor says she's critical.
Gave her a shot, that's all. Just gave her a shot.
No, Jude, you don't understand. See, it's Mrs. Morris I'm talking about. I gave her this stuff.
Mrs. Morris is in hospital.
Oh, no, Jude. You sure that stuff's all right?
Of course I'm sure. I took it. Look how much better I am.
Yeah. Certainly had me worried the way she was thrashing around like that before.
Oh, I told you not to worry. Look at her now.
Yeah. Certainly looks a lot better now.
Lizzie.
How you feeling, Mrs. M?
Better, Lizzie. Feel a bit weak, but I'll be all right.
Good on you, Mrs. M. Well, you did have us worried. You were a real crook. But Evie, she fixed you. She probably saved your life.
Hey! Hey, who is it? In here! Somebody answer me!
Oh, for heaven's sake, Hamilton, keep it down. What's all this row about?
Thank God. I thought you'd forgotten I was here.
You're not the only one in this prison, you know.
When am I getting out?
Out? You've only been in here 5 minutes.
Oh, yes, but you see, I explained why I did it, and I gave my word that it wouldn't happen again.
You think they'd let you out because of that? This is a prison, Hamilton, not a school. And it takes a little bit more than the word of a criminal to change things.
Oh, Miss Bennet, I'm not a criminal.
Everyone inside's a criminal. You were the one who tried to escape, and you've got no one to blame but yourself. And if you keep up with this nonsense, maybe you can go without lunch.
Lunch? Where was it prepared?
Look, I haven't got time to stand around here all day. In case you hadn't noticed, half the people in this block are sick. Now, do you want lunch or not?
Well, that's why I want to know where it was prepared.
We aren't going to specially cater for you, Hamilton. Either you eat what we eat or you don't eat at all. Now, which is it?
Yes, I'd better not. I don't want to risk it.
Oh, well, you've had your chance.
Well, I don't want to eat anything that's been prepared in here.
It wasn't prepared in here. It was brought in from outside.
Oh, well, then I met Miss Bennet. I didn't know that.
Quiet, you can do without dinner as well. Anything wrong?
Well, Mrs. Morris, obviously you're much better. The antibiotics must be taking effect at last.
Antibiotics, nothing. It was Evie's medicine that done it.
Oh, now, Lizzie, I think the doctor knows a bit more about this than you do.
Well, you got proof right in front of you.
Proof?
Yeah, Mrs. Morris is better and so is Evie, and they both had some of her medicine.
Is this true?
I'm
Were
sorry.
you given anything after I left?
I can't remember. Everything's sort of a haze.
Of course it is. She was too sick to know, but I seen her take it myself.
Dr. Granger, you surely must admit now that I am not a fake. I did cure Mrs. Morris and myself.
It was more likely the antibiotics.
Oh, no, Mrs. Morris didn't get any better after the antibiotics. It was only after she took my mixture that she improved. And if you remember, I did not have any antibiotics at all. Now, do I look sick?
She's got you there, Doc.
And are any of the others getting any better? No, they aren't, are they? You don't know what to do for them. Well, you give me the chance, and I will have every one of them cured within 24 hours.
All right, show me this miracle drug of yours.
Oh, no. You let me give it to them, and that should be proof enough.
You know I can't do that. Even if I could, I wouldn't take the chance. I'd advise you to stop filling these gullible people with such rubbish.
didn't you show it to him?
He wouldn't understand it, Lizzie. He certainly wouldn't treat anybody with it. The only thing would be if he would allow me to actually use it. Then he'd see. They all would.
Maybe he would have tried it. And if the others don't get any of that stuff, they might die.
Well, if anybody dies, it'll be on his conscience, not mine.
You will keep us informed if you manage to find her, won't you? Thank you. Goodbye. Well, there's still no word of Jenny Armstrong. Let's hope she's not spreading the disease wherever she goes.
Well, I brought you some good news for a change. Mrs. Morris seems to be through the worst of it.
Oh, that's wonderful. Then your treatment is beginning to work.
Well, I certainly hope so. By the way, you haven't given Evelyn Randall permission to practice her witchcraft on the women, have you?
Well, certainly not. I wouldn't risk it. Why do you ask?
It's just that she's claiming she gave Mrs. Morris some of her medicine and took some herself.
Do you believe her?
Well, the other woman in the hospital backs up her story, Mrs. Bursworth.
Lizzie. Well, if what they say is true, could there be any harm in it?
Perhaps not. They both seem well enough. The thing is, they're both claiming there was no improvement until Mrs. Randall's treatment. Of course, Mrs. Morris did have a broad-spectrum antibiotic.
And Randall?
Well, she refused the injection, claims she just used her own treatment, or so she says. Of course, her improvement was probably a coincidence. She was pretty strong to begin with, and diseases do affect people differently. I'm sure there's nothing to it.
G'day, Dor. Is that for us? Beauty!
Oh, Mrs. Morris, you're all right. Oh, God, I was real scared. I thought you were going to die.
I'm much better, thanks, Doreen.
Come on, Dor, we're going to get it or not? Best part about all this is we don't have to eat all that muck from the kitchen. God, this is cold too.
What's she looking so surprised about? I told you she'd get better if you gave her my medicine.
Are you the one who gave it to me, Doreen?
Yeah, I got it from Evelyn's cell. You were real bad, and she said it would help you. But I gave her some first to make sure it wouldn't hurt you.
Well, something certainly helped.
Honestly, Mrs. M, the stuff the doctor gave you didn't do no good at all. You only got better when you had heavy stuff.
Has it been used on anyone else?
No. I offered to treat everyone who was sick. But as usual, orthodox medicine wouldn't give it a chance.
Why don't they try it, Mrs. M? There are so many sick people.
What'd you do with what was left over, Doreen?
Oh, it's gone.
Oh, you couldn't have used very much. Where's the rest of it?
I chucked it away.
You did what?
Well, I chucked it out. You see, I heard the doctor saying that Mrs. Morris was real critical, and I thought, well, I don't know, I thought maybe I'd poisoned her. So I flushed it down the loo.
Oh, Dor, what a stupid thing to do. What about all them other sick people?
Oh, well, doesn't matter, I suppose. I can make some more. It'll just take time, that's all.
Where are you going to get the stuff from?
Ah, well, that's why this is such a wonderful way of treating people. You see, we don't need a chemist. All the stuff's growing right there in the prison garden.
It just doesn't make sense. I've been exposed as much as Meg, and so far I'm fine.
It's a bit peculiar, isn't it? The people that are getting it. It doesn't seem to be spreading from person to person the way you'd expect.
I just wish I felt more confident that the doctor knew what he was doing.
Oh, come on, Vera. Look how much better Meg is. It's only a matter of time before the others start getting better as well.
Oh, I don't know. I just wish it were over. It's a terrible feeling being stuck in here, knowing it could strike at any time.
You're not feeling sick, are you?
No, but it could happen. It could happen to any of us.
I think you're worrying too much. If we haven't got it by now, I'd say we'd be immune or something. Come on, Vera, relax. I'm sure the worst is over. Dr. Granger knows what he's doing.
Well, it's good to see you looking so much better, Meg. You were very sick.
Yes, whatever it is, it's nasty.
Well, it all came on so suddenly. One minute you were fine
You're
and...
not feeling sick, are you?
No. So far I'm fine. I'm just a little tired.
You look a little bit peaky to me, Miss Bennett.
I'm not interested in your opinion, Birdsworth. I'm talking to Mrs. Morris, not you. From what I've heard, Dr. Granger still doesn't know what disease it is, but at least his treatment's working.
Well, I'm not sure that it is.
Oh, don't be so negative, Meg. You're looking fine. You'll be up in a day or so.
That's not what I mean. I know I'm feeling better, but I don't know that it was the doctor's treatment that did it.
It wasn't. I'm just trying to tell you why Mrs. M got better, and it had nothing to do with a doctor.
And what would you know about it, Birdsworth?
Well, I was here, wasn't I? And she didn't start to get better until she had that other stuff.
Evidently, I had some of Randall's mixture. I don't remember anything about it. I was too sick at the time to know what was happening.
Who told you that?
Well, Randall herself. And Dorian and Lizzie were here, too.
Oh, surely you're not going to take their word for anything.
Well, do you reckon we was lying?
It wouldn't surprise me.
Well, what would be the point?
You lot would say anything to back each other up. You're probably trying to help Randall.
I don't think they were lying, Vera.
Of course not. Not at a time like this. We're all real glad to see Mrs. M get better.
And just who was it that gave Mrs. Morris the mixture?
You think I'm going to tell you that and get them into trouble? I'm not that stupid.
I'll find out.
Well, I don't remember anything. Besides, I'm sure they're just trying to help.
Oh, honestly, Meg, you're being so gullible. That stuff could have made you worse.
But it didn't, did it?
You sound convinced.
Well, not entirely. Well, I guess I am. I just wish I could remember when I started to feel better.
Does Dr. Granger know?
Yes, he was in a while ago. It's not just me, Vera. I mean, Evelyn herself is so much better that she's gone back to her cell. And she didn't even have treatment by the doctor. She treated herself.
That's right, Miss Bennett. And I reckon if you get sick, you'll be real glad that we told you all about it.
Oh, geez, they look real bad. Oh, she's awful hot.
Okay.
Bee. Bee?
Trapped.
Well, how long's she been like this?
No, eh?
I said, how long's she been like that?
I don't know. Long time, I guess.
Well, they both look like they're dying.
They're not dying. They'll be fine. The doctor said they would.
Yeah, if he used Evelyn's stuff, they'd get better quick enough, but he won't.
Stuff? What are you talking about?
Well, Evelyn made up this mixture of herbs and stuff, and she got me to get some of it into her and Mrs. Morris, and they got better real quick. And Mrs. Morris looked just as bad as Bee and Jude, and she's fine now. The doctor said he won't use it. He says
Where is it? What?
That stuff you made. Where is it?
I don't know what you're talking about.
The stuff you gave Mrs. Morris. Now get it.
Oh, you don't look sick.
I'm not. It's for Judy. Now get it.
Look, I'd like to help you, dear, really I would, but the doctor's being very
want to
difficult.
hear your life story. I just want that stuff. Where is it?
That's what I'm trying to tell you, dear. I can't give you any.
Don't you mess with me, lady.
Oh! Doreen got scared and she threw it out.
You made it, didn't you?
Yes, I made it.
Well, then you better make some more and be quick about it.
I can't.
Look, if you don't make some more of that stuff, I'll push your teeth down your throat. I don't want to hear you say you can't. Judy's dying. If you don't make some more of that stuff, I'll make sure that you die first.
The ingredients of plants I need for the garden, they won't let me get them. I can't.
It certainly is a good sign that there have been no new cases.
Yes, at least it doesn't seem to be spreading further. We still haven't solved the biggest problem, however. Finding out what the disease is so we can deal with it effectively.
Well, how are you? Come in.
Mrs. Davidson, Randall insists on seeing you. She says it's very important.
All right, Miss Bennett, show her in.
Inside, Randall.
Yes, Randall, what is it?
I suppose the good doctor neglected to mention to you that my treatment has cured Mrs. Morris.
He has told me of your claims.
Claims? Well, Mrs. Morris is well because of my treatment, but I would suppose that's been put down to coincidence. Am I right?
You are an intelligent woman. Surely you must realize it would be impossible to tell whether the doctor's treatment helped Mrs. Morris or what you gave her. I am inclined to believe
I am quite well. I had none of his treatment. I cured myself. Oh, of course, I can see that coming here was a total waste of time.
Is that why you came here, to tell me about Mrs. Morris?
Well, partly. I may come back later. I'm sure Dr. Granger will deny anything I have to say.
Look, Mrs. Randall, I'm not as close-minded as you seem to believe. I give you my word, I'll listen to everything you have to say.
Whether you believe it or not, I did cure Mrs. Morris and myself. Now, there are a lot of women sick here, and they're going to get worse. Now, I am asking you for a chance to help them. You see, the mixture I made was thrown out by mistake. Now, I can make more, but I need access to the things in the prison garden. Oh, please let me make some more and treat the women. It can't possibly hurt them, so you don't need to worry on that score. And you see, it will give me a chance to prove to you that I can cure them.
I'm sorry, that is quite out of the question.
Mrs. Davidson, could I have a word with you privately?
Yes, of course. Miss Bennett, you can take Randall back now.
You're making a very big mistake.
Let her do it.
But you
I'm sure there's nothing at all in her claims, but she's up to something. Let her make up her mixture. I'll confiscate it and have it tested.
Oh, do you think that's wise?
Don't worry, I won't let her near the woman with it. I just want to find out what it is, and this is the perfect opportunity. I'll take full responsibility.
Well, if you think it's important.
I do.
Crikey, is this the same sort of stuff you used in the last lot?
I told you to get it all from the prison garden.
Yeah, I know, but I meant, I don't know, all this is weeds and that.
Oh, no. No, it's not, no. Take that, for instance, now that's sorrel. Absolutely delicious vegetable.
God, and I thought the stuff they fed us in here was bad. Yuck.
And that dandelion in George's bowl is superb. You know, there isn't a single part of that plant that can't be used. It has even more iron and vitamins than spinach.
But I don't like spinach.
Well, perhaps you should try some of that as a vegetable.
Oh, not bloody likely. How come we have to dig up the roots as well?
I told you, all the plant can be used. You know, you can even make wine and beer from it.
Oh, geez, don't let Lizzie know. She'll have a dandelion still going.
Get me a double handful of that. Not without gloves. Ow! Georgie, I'm sorry. I thought you knew nettles sting. Doreen, you better do it. You've got the gloves on.
Gee, you're going to feed this to people. I'm sure glad I'm not sick.
Would you get me all of that? That little plant there, that's chickweed. Have you ever heard of soul food in the South of America? Greens, pot liquor?
Oh, yeah, I heard about it in the movies.
Well, you know, what they are referring to are dandelions.
Oh.
Right, I think we've probably got enough there. Officer, all right to go now.
You sure know a lot.
Yes, enough, I think. Enough.
Meg, I was told you were feeling better. I'm so glad.
Oh, so am I. Whatever it is, I've never felt so sick in my life.
I understand Randall gave you some of her homemade medicine.
Well, I'm afraid I was too ill at the time to realise what was happening, but they told me so.
It's true, Mrs. Davidson. I've seen it with my own eyes. That shot the doctor gave her, that never did nothing. It was Evie that cured her.
I don't think you can be too sure of that, Lizzie.
Honest, Mrs. Davidson, it worked like a charm. She knows what she's doing, but nobody'll give her a go.
Did you have some too?
No, I wasn't that sick. Evie said I'd get better by myself, and I did.
Lizzie, don't you think if you were able to get well on your own, Mrs. Morris might have too? It could all be just a coincidence.
Oh, you didn't see her, Mrs. Davidson. She was really that sick. She'd never have gotten better on her own. Why won't anybody believe her? She cured Mrs. M. She could do it for everybody else, but nobody will listen.
Yes, that should be about right, I think. Doreen, dear, would you pass me that jar? Right, thank you. There we are. Just have a bit more, I think. Right. Now.
Well, what'd you do that for?
Just an idea I've got. We'll see if I'm right. Should be any minute now, I think.
I'll take this, thanks.
Now, I don't suppose you're giving that to the patients.
You're absolutely right. I will, however, be having it analysed. I'm sure it's a waste of time, but perhaps it'll put an end to all this rubbish. Miss Watson?
Why'd you let him do that?
Well, I couldn't very well stop him, could I?
No, I suppose not. But he didn't get it all. Look, Georgie, it's okay.
He did exactly what I thought he would do.
Have we got enough?
Oh, yes. Enough for a good start, I think.
Well, Judy gets it first.
All right, Georgie. Judy gets it first.
Well, how long do you think it will take? Or could you put a rush on it, please? Right, thanks. I've just been on to the lab. The results of the analysis should be back by tomorrow. I must say I feel a bit silly having a bunch of weeds analysed. Still, at least I can't be accused of being unfair.
You're really very sure there's nothing in it, aren't you?
Yes, I'm sure. But if I can get definite proof, perhaps it'll put an end to all this talk that's going on. She's got half the women believing everything she says. It's not making my job any easier.
Well, I shall be pleased if you can discredit her. If you don't, it's going to be very difficult stopping the women from going to her the whole time she's here. We'll have to keep an eye on her to make sure she's not giving them anything on the sly.
Well, I think you can relax on that score. I'm sure tomorrow's results will prove me right.
Jude, I've got something to make you better.
What's she doing?
Is that Evelyn's?
Yeah, I'll fix you up real good.
Jude, don't. It's dangerous.
Mrs. Morris had some of this, and she was much worse than you, and she's fine now.
Please, Jude.
Didn't make Mrs. Morris sick. I may as well try it.
You're mad. It's poison. It's poison.
What do you think you're doing, Baxter? I said, what are you doing?
I'm just giving her some of Evelyn's medicine.
Who gave you permission to do that?
No one. I'm not going to have Judy lie there sick if this will fix her up.
Baxter, it'll be your fault if anything goes wrong.
Oh, thanks, Miss Bennett.
You won't thank me when the doctor hears about this. Come on, Baxter, outside. Come on.
See? I told you. You feared that you have it. It's got to be poison.
This is ridiculous.
Someone got here fast.
Well, look who's here, Phil.
It isn't Miss Bennett.
I don't stop on account of us, Miss Bennett.
Yeah, we're all girls together.
Oh, we shouldn't bother her, girls, because I think Miss Bennett's a bit shy.
That's enough of that, Burns.
No, it's not, Miss Bennett, because I think you still got soap in your ears.
What do you think you're doing?
Why, nothing, Miss Bennett. Just thinking how homey it is to see you looking like one of us.
There was no need to put your DG on. You haven't got anything that we haven't all seen before.
Or better.
I'm sure it's nothing we haven't seen before.
Your appearance this morning?
Gullible people and people who aren't too bright are always the first to believe in faith healers and natural medicine and all that nonsense.
I don't think that you can put them all in the same category. Quite a lot of intelligent people believe in natural healing methods.
Well, not you too, Vera.
I think there's something in it, yes.
For God's sake, I thought you were too bright to believe in all that nonsense.
Hang on a minute, Jim. A lot of people do believe in this sort of thing, and they're not all gullible fools. Dr. Granger's gone to the trouble of having the stuff tested. Now, surely that must mean he doesn't discount it entirely.
Exactly. And as for the authorities, I think it's sheer stupidity not to treat the women with it, especially as Meg made such a quick recovery.
Suppose you agree with Vera.
No, I wouldn't go so far as to say that the women should be treated with it. I mean, until the stuff's tested, we don't really know what effects it could have.
You talk about being gullible. It's just as bad to think that orthodox medicine is the be-all and end-all. Everybody knows that whatever the doctor gave Meg did nothing at all. And meanwhile, we're stuck in here in intolerable conditions.
And your mood isn't helping matters either.
Oh, excuse me, I'm on duty.
There she goes. My favourite breakfast companion. Guaranteed to brighten any day.
Here comes breakfast.
Hi, how you feeling?
Good morning, Maureen. Oh, I'm fine, thank you.
G'day, Dor. Hey, should I bring in another one or not?
No, she hasn't moved since they first brought her in.
Many of the other women as bad as that?
Yeah, but Judy's real good now.
Oh, that's terrific.
Yeah, Evelyn had to make up another batch of that stuff, and then we found out that she only had to make it up so the doctor could test it, and he came in and took it straight away, just as soon as she'd finished it.
The stinker.
Yeah, but she managed to put a whole jar of stuff away from him just in time, and Georgie sneaked it into Judy, and now Judy's feeling real good.
Well, that proves even more that it works. They might start using it now.
Doesn't look like it.
Well, if it was sneaked into her, perhaps the doctor didn't know she had some before she got better.
Yeah, he'd know all right, because Miss Bennett walked in on her right in the middle of taking it, and she would have told.
Oh, Mrs. Morris, can't you do something?
I don't see what I can do, Lizzie.
Well, can't you talk to the governor and get her to convince the doctor to use that stuff?
No matter what I say to Mrs. Davidson, she still has to do as the doctor advises.
Even if he's wrong. How's B going?
Well, not too good, I'm afraid. She hasn't had any of the stuff, and she's only on what the doctor gave her, and she's getting worse, if anything.
Oh, I'm sorry, I just don't see that there's anything I can do.
You could say something, Mrs. M. I mean, you're different from us. They'll listen to you.
Yeah, don't you believe that it was Evelyn's stuff that fixed you up?
I saw her give it to you with my own eyes.
Lizzie, I believe you. I think it did cure me. Even if we didn't have a doctor here, perhaps I would go to Mrs. Davidson, but we do. Now, he's trained for that sort of thing. I simply can't go over his head. I'm sorry.
God, Mrs. Morris, I never thought you'd let us down.
Lizzie, eat your breakfast, Doreen. Haven't you got things to do?
I've lost my appetite. How can you eat when all your mates are sick?
It'll be relief when all this is over. Remind me never to break the law. I'd hate to have to sleep in here permanently.
What does the analysis tell you?
Yes, as I thought, there are very few active elements in it.
I knew it.
The strongest indication is of a mucus content. That would tend to act as a purgative. From what Miss Bennett said, Bryant had taken quite a lot of Randall's mixture before she was caught. So I'd be very interested to see her this morning. If she really has improved, I could easily treat the rest of the women with a common purgative, the proper medical equivalent of this.
You don't mean to say that you actually think there's some good in this rubbish that she's cooked up?
The purgative is hardly a cure for any disease, but I'm told Bryant is evidently better. If my examination bears that out, it's worth a try.
Doctor, it does sound as though you are accepting the fact the treatment could be everything that Randall says it is.
Hardly. To be quite honest, I don't expect any improvement in Bryant's condition. But if there is one, it probably means she's coming to the end of her bout of illness. I'm simply trying to keep an open mind. Excuse me. Mrs. Knox, will you come with me, please?
Sounds more than trying to keep an open mind to me.
Oh, breakfast. I'm starving. Thanks.
Breakfast. Hey, Smith, breakfast.
How do I?
I thought you were supposed to be real smart. Judy's fine. If you'd have taken some of that stuff, you'd be okay too. I reckon the great B. Smith's pretty stupid if you ask me.
Lay off her, Georgie. She's sick.
You here again, Miss Baxter?
I've been delivering breakfast.
Well, it looks to me as though you've finished. Would you mind leaving, please? I'd like to examine my patients.
Where do you get off talking like you're so much better than me? You ought to be grateful. If it wasn't for me, Judy'd be just as sick as old Myth over there.
Would you get off there, please?
What a load of bolt.
Well, Miss Bryant, you seem to be recovering quite nicely.
Yeah, no thanks to you. Look, I'm sorry. I know you're trying to do your job. But why don't you listen to us? I'm no doctor, but I know when I'm getting better. And the minute I took that Evelyn Randall's mixture, I began to feel okay. Now, what are you going to do about it?
You're quite right. You're not a doctor. Now, look, if it makes you feel any better, I've got some medicine in here that will duplicate anything that was in that stuff you took. Now, I'd advise you to get some rest.
And will that have the same effect as Evelyn's mixture?
Exactly.
You know, you people are amazing. I thought that the medical profession back home was narrow-minded, but this takes the cake. You've just said that Evelyn's mixture is very good. You've admitted that. And you're going to say that that stuff's going to do the same effect. Why don't you just let Evelyn treat us? Anyway, how are you going to feel if that stuff isn't exactly the same as yours? What are you going to do if your patients die when you've treated them?
Come in.
Sorry to disturb you, Mrs. Davidson, but I'd like to ask a favor.
Yes, of course. What can I do for you?
I'd like your permission to search Evelyn Randall's cell.
Well, of course, I could have her cell searched if it were necessary, but I don't quite understand. What do you expect to find?
I want to see if she's got any other preparations hidden away. Something else she possibly could have given to the women.
You think she might have more of her mixture?
Not exactly. Do I have your permission?
Well, if you think it's important, I'll arrange it.
It's important.
Yeah, well, it's going to be good to be out of bed for a change, isn't it?
You'd have a new bet with me. That Doreen's no fun.
Is that the only reason you think it's a good idea?
Nah, you know it's not.
Yeah, I know. You've been real good to me, Georgie.
Oh, good day, Jude. It's good to see you up and about again.
Yeah. How's Bea?
Oh, she's not too good, Dor. She seemed to be getting worse all the time.
Bea? Bea, it's me, Doreen.
God, hang on. No, she's okay.
Are you sure?
Yeah. She slips in and out of consciousness all the time. It's been happening for a while now.
Oh, good, Dor. You frightened me. I thought she was dead.
Well, don't say that, Lizzie. It's like you're mozzing her or something. She's not going to die, is she?
Of course not.
No. Do you think she's going to let somebody else run this place? Not a chance.
She looked pretty sick to me.
What are you talking about? Are you a doctor or something?
Honey, why don't you wait for me outside? You know, I'll only be a minute, okay?
Yeah, sure.
Now, look, Bea is going to be okay. The doctor's given her a mixture just like Evelyn's.
What do you mean?
Well, he analysed Evelyn's medicine and made up some of the same stuff.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I was with Evelyn when he came in and took the stuff from her.
Well, then you know it's going to be all right. I mean, I took the mixture and look at me. I don't look sick, do I?
No, you look real good, Jude.
Bloody doctor. He could have used heavy stuff all the time.
Well, has anyone else got any ideas they'd like to put forward?
Yeah, I'm still pretty healthy. Any chance of Evelyn teaching us about medicine? The kind that works?
Sorry to interrupt. Randall, you want it in your cell.
Hey, wake up.
Come on, Randall, we haven't got all day.
Well, ladies, what do you know? Looks like the doc's got the message. Maybe Evelyn's going to be allowed to cure the sickies after all.
Well, have you finally decided to see it my way?
Hardly. We've come to search your cell, Randall.
Oh, really? What do you expect to find? You don't even know what the disease is, do you? How can you cure it if you don't know what it is?
What is this?
Work it out for yourself. I'm not going to tell you. Well, I've known what the disease is and how to cure it almost from the beginning. Now, that's quite a kick in the pants for traditional medicine, isn't it? You might have the good manners to answer when somebody speaks to you.
All right, Mrs. Randall. What is it you'd like me to say?
I'd like you to admit you're in the wrong. If you're letting your pride stand in the way of curing patients who are sick, well, that doesn't say very much for the oath you take, does it?
It's nothing to do with pride, just common sense and experience.
I think you're just afraid to admit I'm in the right.
You flatter yourself, Mrs. Randall.
Is it the Hippocratic oath, Doctor? Or the hypocritic?
You want a hand?
Oh, thanks, honey. I'm not as strong as I thought I was.
You got to take it easy for a while. You're a real crook, you know.
Yeah, well, it would have been a lot worse if it hadn't been for you.
Well, here you go. You just sit down. You take it easy.
Thanks, honey. Don't go, huh? I just wanted to thank you for everything you've done for me. I mean, if it hadn't been for you, I might have been as sick as Bea.
Oh, I didn't do much.
Yes, you did. And not only did you look after me, you gave me that medicine. I might have died without that.
I wouldn't let that happen. You're my friend.
Yeah, I know that. And I care about you, too. I care about you more than just a friend. You know that, don't you?
You bitch! Oh, you dirty, filthy dog! I thought you were my friend! You make me sick, you sick bitch!
What's going on?
He kissed me.
All right, come on, outside.
Sick.
Well, did you find what you were looking for?
I found quite a lot of things. Most of them are harmless enough, but a few, well, I've sent the whole lot off to be analysed. There are some weeds and herbs that can produce pretty unpleasant results, you know.
Well, we'll keep a close watch on her in the future and make sure she doesn't give the women anything at all.
You don't seem to understand. I think she already has, without their knowledge.
Yes, of course, but without their knowledge?
She's been set on trying to prove that she can cure with her mixtures. If I'm right, she thought she'd found the way. She knew exactly how to cure them because she made them sick in the first place. She deliberately poisoned them.
He used to give me roses. I wish he could again. But that was on the outside, and things were different then. On the inside, the sun still shines, and the rain falls down. But the sun and rain are prisoners too when morning comes around. Last night I dreamed we were together, sharing